So I'm back to make a new video for you, and I decided this time it might be fun to do a little taste test. So one of the things that I think a lot of people want to know, but we don't want to spend the money to actually experiment for ourselves, is what difference does it make if you use dried herbs or fresh herbs? Do you want to spend the money to buy all the herb plants, to grow them yourself, water them, take care of them, weed them, or is it just as good just to buy a dried herb from the store? And if you buy dried herbs from the store, does it matter if you purchase a name brand or just buy like an off-brand generic type dried herb? So I've got a good setup here. I've got 3 rows. In this row I've got dried oregano from my garden. In this row I've got dried parsley from my garden, and in this row I've got dried cilantro from my garden. I didn't want to do Italian seasoning. Oregano and parsley are very common in Italian seasoning, but I didn't want to do Italian seasoning because I wanted to only taste the one herb at a time. The next plate that I have is fresh oregano from my garden, fresh parsley from my garden, and fresh cilantro from my garden. Next, I have name brand dried oregano, name brand dried parsley, and name brand dried oregano. And then the last row, I have, I just went to the Latin section of my grocery store and I bought just an off generic brand dried oregano, the generic brand dried parsley, and they didn't have a generic brand dried cilantro, so we're going to skip that one. And if you're wondering what the liquid is in each plate, I just put probably about a tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil in each plate, just to make it a little more palatable so I'm not tasting plain herbs. And I've got just a plain piece of white bread here, and I'm going to just taste each one, and I'm going to tell you what they taste like and which one I like better, so you know if it's worth the effort to make the effort to grow your own herbs, or buy the name brand, or just buy the generic and try to save some money. So I think the first thing I'll do is taste the off-brand or the generic brand oregano and see what that tastes like. It's good, but I mostly get the olive oil. The flavor in that is not real pronounced to me. You get a little bit, but it's not hugely apparent. So let's try the name brand oregano. Oregano's got a real grassy flavor. I almost think I tasted more in the name brand one than in the generic one. The color's a little bit different too. The color's more of a brown color for the name brand one, and more of a darker color. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of tell. They're a little bit different, and I think I taste more of the oregano flavor in the name brand one. Let's try the fresh and see how that tastes. Oh, much stronger oregano flavor in that, and it's not quite as bitter. I like the way the oregano goes with the olive oil much better. In this one you just taste, in these two you taste a lot of olive oil and not as much spice and not as much herb, and in this one you taste more, they have more of an equal share. And let's taste the homemade, the home dried oregano. Okay, that tastes like dried, like these two dried, but it probably has about as much flavor as this name brand one. So, the conclusion for that is, I think if you want the most oregano punch, do fresh. It definitely tells, you definitely shows in the taste of it. So let's do parsley now. So I've got my off-brand parsley. Not a ton of flavor there. I mostly taste olive oil. Let's try the name brand parsley. I definitely taste more parsley flavor in the name brand one. So, surprise, I didn't think it would matter that much. But it's a surprise to me that if you're going to buy dried from the store, the name brand seems to taste better than the generic brand. I have a feeling I know that I'm going to like the fresh one the best. Yep. Very strong parsley flavor. I love that flavor. I love cooking with fresh herbs because they give it such a nice, fresh taste. I like that one a lot. And you definitely taste the herb on an equal footing with the olive oil. So let's try my home-dried parsley. It's about on equal footing with the name brand parsley, dried parsley. So, out of oregano and parsley, I would say buy the name brand one if you're in a hurry and you don't have any fresh growing. If you have the capability to grow your own herbs, grow your own parsley, grow your own oregano, if you like the flavor that you get with cooking with herbs, if you want the biggest punch, the fresh is the way to go. So let's try cilantro now, excuse me. This is the name brand cilantro. Let's try that. It tastes like cilantro. But again, because it's dry, I'm getting a lot of olive oil. Let's try the fresh. Again, fresh is way better. The flavor that you get really is outstanding. And this is the one that I dried myself. Yeah, the two dried ones taste about the same. But far and away, the flavor of the fresh one is better. So if you're making fresh salsa, fresh cilantro is the way to go. So I wasn't sure what I'd find out doing this taste test, but I think what I found out is that it's best to grow your own herbs. Grow your own, use the fresh that you can. If you have an extra, dry it yourself and use it. It's a lot cheaper than buying these dried herbs. But if you don't have any fresh, you can't dry your own, you don't have the room, the space, the time, for whatever reason, I hate to say it, but the generic brand dried herbs are not quite as good as the name brand dried herbs. The name brand dried herbs cost a little more, but they really do have a little bit more flavor to them. So I hope you enjoyed that taste test. If you have suggestions for other things you'd like me to taste for you, leave a comment below, and make sure you like and subscribe down below and leave your comments and enjoy growing your own herbs for some tasty cooking. Bye!